I'm going to call the meeting to order. I'm going to do a roll call of my members, myself, Tom's here, Keith.
Here.
Maureen.
Here.
Carlos.
Here.
Donnie.
Here.
Paul.
Here.
Susan.
Here.
Sherry. Sherry. On mute. On mute with a big ass like Superman. All right.
Sorry, here.
There you go. All right, we're all good. Okay. All right, let's. I'm going to pass on the minutes right now, just because we can go dive right into the articles, which would be more interesting, I guess. So I'm going to go by assignment numbers. I'm going to start with the special for the DPW team members. Let me know who is going to be handling the particular article. So when I create the sheet for Don Gibson, he knows what's going on. All right. So special number one, Susan. And if you're not ready, that's fine, because I think we just decided we can't get through everything today with a scheduled meeting for next week. So, Susan, are you all set with one?
I personally am all set. I will, full disclosure, I'm not familiar with the process here, so giving me the first one may have been a snafu.
Let's do this. Let's go this. We're gonna for the one off. We're gonna go to Keith at number 2.
I'll move it.
Okay. All right. So we move the article as written.
Yep.
We have a second.
Second.
Discussion. Keith, anything?
Nope. It's pretty straightforward.
All right. A lot of these are sort of annual things that is sort of housekeeping stuff as well. Sort of like what yours is, Susan, with Article 1. Usually they're a lot bigger. Usually there's there could be a dozen or 15, 20. So this is pretty good. All right. So with Article 2, any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Tom, aye. Keith.
Aye.
Maureen.
Aye.
Carlos.
Aye.
Donnie.
Aye.
Paul.
Aye.
Susan.
Aye.
Sherry.
Aye.
I'll be glad when I don't have to do this anymore. So let's go back to Article 1. Susan.
I will move Article 1 as written
Fantastic.
in the special town warrant.
Any discussion? All right. Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Tom, aye. Keith.
Aye.
Maureen.
Aye.
Carlos.
Aye.
Donnie.
Aye.
Paul.
Aye.
Susan.
Aye.
Sherry.
Aye.
All right. Article 3, Carlos.
I will move Article 3 as written.
Second.
Discussion?
Yes, there were 3 questions that I asked. I first passed them on to Donnie, and then Michael was gracious enough to answer the questions this afternoon. 3 questions were, and I assume these will probably come up at town meeting: who will continue to maintain the ball fields? Who will manage and schedule the use of the fields? And how will the user rates be established, and who will collect and manage the fees? Answer to number 1, the DPW will continue to manage the fields. The schedule and the use of fields are managed by the Recreation Department. And the Recreation Department sets the fees, manages the fees, and will be collecting the fees.
Right.
Great. Any other questions on this one? All right. Seeing none, all those in favor of Article 3 say yes. Tom, yes. Keith.
Yes.
Maureen.
Yes.
Carlos.
Yes.
Donnie.
Yes.
Paul.
Yes.
Susan.
Yes.
Sherry.
Yes.
All right. Article 4, Keith.
Oh, okay. I didn't know I have it. I'll move it as written.
That's
Oh.
second.
I think I have 4.
Oh,
No, I don't have it. You can
okay.
have it.
You have that, Paul?
Yes, I'll move it written. I have a couple questions on it.
Second.
Okay.
So just some clarity on my part. I was
Yep.
trying to find out what the original budgets were on these projects. And I noticed that the budget book you guys sent out, Patrick and Michael, was on, I think starts in 22. So I was just curious as to what were these original budgets, say, for like on a couple of big numbers like the tank painting, that 360,000 wasn't spent.
All right. Let's go to Michael or Patrick. Do you have that information?
Yeah, we can get that for you. That's not required. These are closeouts. So what happens is these come from prior town meetings, Paul, right? And on most of the items, our town accountant does a great job of keeping track of sort of what these are and where they're from. A lot of them have the warrants that they're in, which you can go to the website and pull up at your leisure and take a look at where they are. If you look at the transfer from articles, right, you'll look at ATM number 4, article, the second line down, school floor tile ATM, right? So since Christine's been our town accountant for the last 3 years going, I think it's your 4th year, correct, Christine?
Yes.
So since that occurred, right, what she does inside of the general ledger account is that she places the type of town meeting it is, ATM or STM, right, the date, right, and the article number. So if anybody from the public wants to, or you guys want to go ahead and look that up, the origination of where the funds came from, that would be the appropriate mechanism to do so.
Okay, so my question's more around, the budgeting process in terms of, because like this I'm using the big number 360. I mean, that could have been a $36 million project and 10% of it was not spent.
That's why we put the information there.
That's why the information's there, Paul. So I guess the real question is, how do they end up with this money that's left over? And that really comes from favorability in the market. When they go out to bid, they got a better than expected bid price. The work was done at a much cheaper rate than what was quoted. The stars all aligned perfectly. And, this is a perfect opportunity to close this out and then reuse that money for like projects. Mr. Carey is here. I'm sure that he would be able to give you, for instance, on the water tank, what that cost of that project was. He might have that right at the top of his fingertips, be able to give that to you. But basically, they follow the procedures for doing an RFP or an RFQ. We go out to bid, people bid on it, they do the work, and some of the time, not all the time, some of the time things come in on our side. More often than not, it's just the opposite. We're coming back to town meeting for additional dollars because the anticipatory cost is so much higher.
Yeah, and I ran a lot of capital projects, and we always used to put 10% of contingency in, and we'd always spend 112% of the project. So yeah, I understand it. And my last question, again, is more clarity, not to take up everybody's time, but when we say this money is returned to original funding sources, this could be state funding, federal funding, tax revenue, any place, right?
Mr. Chairman, I can answer that if you'd like.
Yeah, please do. Thank you.
So I guess historically, right, anything that transfers to original funding source would be the debt article, which it was passed from, which would fall to debt services, which again would then fall to free cash, right? And that's started off with anything in the starts with the 3 is a debt article. Anything starting with 2 is a free cash or a retained earnings article, right? Which what those funds would fall back to just general fund cash or water retained earnings, sewer retained earnings, etc. Right? But those are the indicators of how the funds came to be. Whether the town borrowed them or transferred them from a free cash funding source, right? So the original funding source for the boiler replacements of Furnace Brook Martinson, that will fall to the debt service line item in which it's paid out of, right? Basically, giving an addition to that the original appropriation, right, in fiscal year 21's budget. So once our town accountant goes through the process of closing out the books, if there's anything excess over in those expense accounts, right, they'll fall to free cash. This is just the proper mechanism that we have to follow, right, to get an account to zero, right? And it's the most transparent way we can do it. And that's really, I mean, we could show you the process on like a T chart, right? Doing the debits, credits, and how the stuff all flows out if you really wanted us to do that. But this is just the appropriate way to do it that's allowed by the Department of Revenue.
Okay, no, I'm just getting close to trying to learn more of the processes here.
Sure.
Yeah, you bet.
Great question.
Well, what was the 6? What's the 6 prefix for?
That's from those are from operating accounts, or they're from some sort of a capital account inside of the water fund. and that's why it's labeled water capital outlay. And that is from the actual budget that's in Appendix C in the town meeting warrant. So you can see, you can take that number there, that's right there. You can follow that, right, all the way into the back of your warrant, right? And you can actually pull the exact account number where that's coming from, which is Appendix C. Oh, it's in the warrant, I promise you.
I can add to that if you'd like, Mr.
Yeah.
Chairman.
These are the
Yes.
guys here.
Dave,
That's what they are.
Dave, go ahead.
Okay, that 360, there was an article, I believe it was the 2019 annual town meeting, where we had proposed to enter into a long-term operating contract with an outfit that would take care of handling things like tank rehabilitation and painting and other upgrades. And that 360 was part of the budget, that line item in the capital that year. We moved away from that approach, and therefore that 360 was residing there. And now we're moving it over to help finish off $1.5 million, if I recall correctly, project to paint both the Forest Street and the Telegraph Hill tanks.
Okay, good enough for now. Thanks.
Great, thank you. Thanks for the questions, Paul. Thanks for clarification, Dave. Any further discussion on this article? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Article 4, Tom, aye. Keith?
Aye.
Maureen?
Aye.
Carlos? Carlos?
Aye.
Donnie?
Jim?
Paul?
Aye.
Susan? Susan, yeah. Maybe it's me. Susan, did you say aye?
I did, I'm sorry.
Okay, thanks.
Yes.
Sherry?
Aye.
I have my head down. I'm not looking up. Thank you. Article 5, Susan.
I move Article 5 on the special town warrant as written.
All right, discussion.
Second.
Oh, Keith is the second. Thank you, Keith. You comfortable with this, Susan?
I'm sorry?
Are you comfortable with the article?
Yes, yes. I know that when we had the joint meeting with the Board of Selectmen, I did have an outstanding question, but Mr. Marusco answered that question for me about the fee that would be levied for the license itself. So that ranges from $25 to $50.
Right.
The current fine would be $100. So this is to increase that fine to incentivize folks to get the licenses.
Exactly. Yeah, I know we did ask a lot of questions at the joint meeting, so that's good. Any further discussion on this? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Tom, aye. Keith?
Aye.
Maureen?
Aye.
Carlos?
Aye.
Donnie?
Aye.
Paul?
Aye.
Susan?
Aye.
Sherry?
Yes. Aye.
I think I said this before, so yes, let's
Aye.
put it up. All right, Article 6, that goes to me. I move Article 6 as written. I have a second.
Second.
Second. I'm going to go back and forth here between Michael and Dave Carey if they'd like to speak of it. Michael?
Just like on behalf of the Board of Selectmen, they don't support this article. This article talks about the indirect charges and the audit of Section 35, Chapter 44. And the Board of Selectmen and the DPW entered into an agreement that was agreed by both boards long before I got here on indirects. We do have a very, what I would consider cumbersome indirect policy, about 164, 165 pages to get us there. Simply, the indirects are offset cost of expenses for services that the DPW uses, such as payroll, treasurer collector, the town accountant, the town administrator, anything else like that. And when the indirect policy was put together, it was crafted as not exact dollars, but as estimates on those services. And that's the way they voted on it. Now, when I got here, there was always some issues with the indirect. People remember back, I was hired in September of 17, In October of 17, there was an article on the town meeting warrant to give the DPW back $256,000. That was an agreed to solution. There was some issues with about $550 that, 550,000, pardon me, dollars that somehow was supposed to be for the DPW. They never got it, and we got into the indirects, and then to finally solve it, the selectmen agreed to give him back $256,000. Now, with the indirect, there's always been sort of a bone of contention. Should it be exact dollars? Should it be estimates? And one of the things I promised the DPW, not the Board of Public Works, but them too, at the time I told Tom, who was the superintendent, that I would be happy to sit down after each town meeting. We would review the indirect policy and we would make adjustments, because I view the indirect policy like a living, breathing document, and we can make changes as long as people agree to it. So I can tell you that in 2020, I agreed to a $125,000 adjustment. In 2021, I agreed to a $196,000 adjustment. And for this current year, which is going to be 2022, I agreed to a $126,000 adjustment. That, added with the $256,000 one-time give back, really gives the DPW $703,000. Now, as far as the audit, we already audit all these accounts. Every year, at the close of business, the audit firm comes in and looks at every single line item. DOR then reviews those the audit to make sure that there are no discrepancies that are foul with anything they look for in our policy. The policies that Patrick crafts, that the Board of Selectmen support and sign every year. And that goes to the DOR, that goes to GFOA, and that also goes to, and that's CAFA was the other one I was thinking of. And if there was a problem with any of those audits, it would come up with those organizations, because that's what they look for. They're the professionals. And if there were problems, the DOR would not certify tax rate. It would never, ever had a problem certifying the tax rate. You know, I'm not going to spend all night debating it, but I wanted to share that information, and we'll have to let town meeting make the final decision.
Thank you. You know, I had a brief conversation with Dave Carrier today, so there's some confusion questions about an audit that was voted on at a town meeting that wasn't done. But I know, talking to you folks today, they said you're saying that, you know, an audit is done every year that the DOR reviews. So this question, and I'll give Dave a chance to ask a couple of questions here. And then also that the indirect costs haven't been paid, but you're saying, and I know we talked earlier, you had the 256 plus the last 3 years have been 125, 190, and I think 126 is what my notes say. So
that is correct. Those were all reductions. The 256 was actually a cash infusion. The 125, the 196, and the 126 were reductions.
Right. So there's an audit done. So there was an audit. I have no idea what happened in the meeting several years ago when an audit was, you know, voted on that we didn't do. I mean, I know we can't go back in time, but I mean, it's kind of confusing. But Dave, do you have anything to add or questions to ask or clarification on anything that was said?
Yes, I do have something to say. First and foremost, this is not about how business has been conducted by either Mike or Patrick. You know, they have been straight up and pretty reasonable with everything that has happened. I know, talking to Dan Bowen, our business manager, that when Dan can find a reason that there should be an adjustment, Patrick has received it, and I'm sure passed it on to Michael. But this is about, to use round numbers for this year, I believe in the neighborhood of $1.25 million that will transfer from the three enterprise divisions over to the general fund. In my prior lives, anytime we were moving money from one quote signs profit center to another, so to speak, you know, that sort of thing was always carefully audited. I was always hit with questions on that. And this is about, from my perspective, basically making sure that we have a very clear and open financial situation that examines these costs on both sides. the offsets and the indirects. And, to me, that is an incremental change to the audit. It shouldn't be a huge number because the arguments we just heard from, and the statements we just heard from Mr. Maresco would indicate that just diving a little deeper into these shouldn't be a big deal, not from my perspective. And we intend to let town meeting decide. It is town meeting's wisdom that will go forward on this. The reason it's a bylaw is because it's something that binds us all. That's all I have.
So let me ask you, Michael and Patrick, so the 1.25 million that's moved, that is somehow included in the audit. Is that correct? That's accounted for somewhere.
Can you say that again?
Gary is talking about the $1.25 million that is moved from one account to another. That is somehow included in the audit.
Let me just give some edification as to what the 1.4 million actually is, right? The $1.4 million actually is $905,000 of actual employee cost, right? That my office pays out, right, in the physical cash form and a check, right, for pension, insurance of municipal buildings, right, and health insurance for the employees, right? Okay, so that's what we do. The reason we don't pay them out directly, right, is for a number of reasons. One, because we have to wait for a year to close, right? So the year closes, right? People move between divisions, and Mr. Carey, I'm sure, can agree with me. Sometimes this guy is a water guy, and then, hey, he takes an opportunity to become a foreman or a supervisor in another division, right? Or people drop off the healthcare system, so we want to make sure that we capture an accurate number, right? That equates those three examples: health insurance, pension, general insurance, right, are physical costs that equate to $905,000, right? The big issue here for us is that this is somehow trying to say that we're in my opinion personally, is that this is taking $610,000 and we're going to throw another $60,000 on top of all the money we pay out for an audit already, right? To engage in an audit that has no defined parameters whatsoever, right? The problem with the audit previously, the same thing, Mr. Galvin's talked this to ad nauseum, there's no parameters. They say they want to audit. Well, I used to be an auditor, right? And so I know exactly what an audit is, right? And you can't just blanketly throw out a statement and say, we want something audited. Well, who's going to do the audit? That responsibility falls back to my office, right? Which would then receive a management letter, would be written from the auditor, right? To Ms. Maresco, not the Board of Public Works, not town meeting, right? That's the course of action for an audit in the municipality, right? That's how an audit's conducted. And so there's a lot of problems with that, right? It's just another blanket statement to go after $610,000, which we were discussing, which is 4% of the entire operation, right? So that's my position. I think Michael said, it's up to town meeting, but we're talking about $610,000, Mr. Chairman.
All right, thank you. Any further discussion?
I have something.
Keith, go ahead.
Okay. I don't agree that we need to have two audits. One has always worked. The state would have said something to us if we weren't following through on everything we have to do legally. Also, the town bends over backwards to help departments like the DPW when they have shortfalls or they have problems with different areas. So we're already doing it. We have an audit. If there's something in the audit that the DPW would like us to check, we can always add it, but we don't need a second audit.
Thank you. All right. So I moved the article as written to just have the discussion. I spoke with Michael and Patrick and Dave today. So I'm going to move the article to defeat the article as written. So an aye vote is to defeat the article. All right. Tom, aye. Keith.
Aye.
Maureen.
Aye.
Carlos. If you, okay, I'm going to pass it. Donnie.
Aye.
Aye.
You hear it?
Oh, are you voting? Carlos, aye?
Yes, please.
Okay, thank you. Donnie?
Aye.
Paul?
Aye.
Susan?
Aye.
Sherry?
Aye.
Okay. So that was everybody. So there's nobody for it. So, okay, moving on to Article 7, the DPW team.
We have the DPW articles. Article 7 is Paul.
Okay, thank you.
Article 8, I have it. And Article 9 is Sherry. And what we're going to do, we're not going to ask you to vote on them tonight. We have a meeting tomorrow with Tom Reynolds, and then we'll come back with our recommendations next week.
Okay, so 7, 8, and 9, we're going to table.
Till next week. And we'll meet with Tom Reynolds tomorrow at 3:00. We just didn't have time to get to see him prior to this hearing.
We are just moving. Whoa, hold on. My screen.
I have I'd like to make a comment or ask a question of town administrator and the treasurer collector.
About which article, Dave?
Article 7.
But Article 7. Yeah, go ahead.
Correct me if I'm wrong here, Patrick and Michael, but this is basically our retained earnings to offset rates in Article 7?
Right, you are correct. It's a standard article that appears every year in the budget.
Yeah, this is to eliminate the issue we had with last year's closure, correct?
No, this is an offset. Go ahead, Patrick.
At the annual town meeting, Mr. Carrier, the motion will address the issue with the DOR stuff going back and forth that we have with the accounting office, my office, your guys' office. Annual town meeting, right, will address all of those issues permanently in the motion.
Thank you.
Okay.
I have a question.
We are moving on to Article 10, which is maybe.
Tom, I have one more question on Article 7 before. I know we're going to meet tomorrow, but since we have Mike and Pat, so another clarification here is, when we met last with Tom, they told us about, significant increase in the volume, people staying home, so forth and so on. So what I'm trying to understand, I was looking at the rates for the enterprise rate for water, sewer, and trash, but I don't see an increase in this most current invoice. I'm thinking there would have been an increase to cover this volume increase in cost. So that's what
I had a question on the rates we're charging, sir.
Say again?
I hear you, Dave.
Is this Article 8?
No.
Still
I
only
guess I
7?
didn't understand the question, if it was directed to me.
Oh, it's all.
Well, I understand we have a significant increase in cost for solid waste disposal,
Correct.
but I'm looking at my utility bill, the current utility bill, and I'm not seeing an increase.
I'm confused.
I can address that if you'd like, sir, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, Dave, go ahead.
Okay, we contracted a year ago now, back in 2020, after going out to bid and getting the low bid, which was Republic, the repeat supplier, and they were low by about $650,000. The amount of expenditure that you have in those bids that you put out is based on history, how much trash you've had over a cycle of period, say 3 to 5 years. I believe we used 5 years average at the time. I was working in some detail with Paul Tomkovich, our environmental project manager. And the bottom line was when COVID-19 came in and people were staying home, the trash volumes, not just in Marshfield, but pretty much statewide and probably regional, if not countrywide, the volumes went up quite a bit. And because we're based on a historic volume of trash, when you have an increase like that, it's not captured in the budget and it is not embedded in the rates because you built your rates off your history. Does that answer your question?
The rate's kind of built on a moving average over a 3 to 5 year type of thing.
We usually reach back at least 3 to 5 years on, but when I was sitting in the superintendent's chair, that's what we did. And I know Paul had at least a 3-year average of prior history. Plus he had also reached out to get a feel for volume variances with the DEP solid waste personnel.
Okay, thanks.
You okay with that? I want everyone to remember exactly what was said about Article 7, so we don't have to repeat this next week. All right, there we go. Okay, now I'm going to move on to Article 10. All right, this is the outdoor seating for the restaurants. The temporary is going to December 1st of this year. I think we talked about it at the joint meeting. Just try to make it predictable. Actually, hold on. Move Article 10 is written. Have a second?
Second.
There you go. Discussion? Yes. To make it predictable for those restaurants that had to outlay some money for benches. Let's use like the Jetty as an example, right? They've got great seating and things like that outside in their parking lot. trying to get these restaurants so they can try to be successful during the pandemic. This is all going to, sunset December 1st of this year. My question to Michael was, what happens if we decide as a town we like this? I guess the restaurants would have to try to get some sort of zoning variance, and I guess we can, cross that bridge when we come to it. But this is, I think, all good for these restaurants that have some more seating so they can try to make a profit here. Do we have further discussion on Article 10? All right, moving Article 10 is written, signified by saying aye. Tom, aye. Keith.
Aye.
Maureen.
Aye.
Carlos.
Aye.
Donnie.
Aye.
Paul.
Aye.
Susan.
Aye.
Jerry.
Aye.
Moving on to Article 11, which is actually, that's, I think that's going to be sort of buckled together with Article 6,
Yes.
right? Okay.
Yes.
So it's just, we can just move on.
So I will move to defeat Article 11 as written. Any discussion?
Second.
Second, thank you. Discussion, seeing none, all those in favor of defeating Article 11 signify by saying aye. Tom, aye. Keith.
Aye.
Maureen.
Aye.
Carlos.
Aye.
Donnie.
Aye.
Paul.
Aye.
Susan.
Aye.
Jerry.
Aye.
All right. That closes out tonight's for the special, but we'll have to revisit that next week. Let's go now towards the annual. Article 1. Stand by. All right. I move Article 1 as written. Have a
Okay.
second?
Second.
All right. Self-explanatory annual article. All those any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Tom, aye. Keith.
Aye.
Maureen.
Aye.
Carlos.
Aye.
Donnie.
Aye.
Paul.
Aye.
Susan.
Aye.
Jerry.
Aye.
All right. Article 2, I move Article 2 is written. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second.
All right, so these are all the salaries. We talked about this last week as well. The difference is that there's a moderator of $300, which is Article 17. So I will talk about that right now. I am going to, when we get there, I guess I'll move Article 17 is written, which is the increase for moderator. I think Michael had mentioned, that Don Gibson, or our town moderator, whoever that may be, was the sort of lowest paid around. I did a little quick Google search. The guy in Falmouth is making $2,500, which is like 25 nice meals of $100 a piece. So this at least gives Don and Janet 3 nice $100 meals around town. They can sort of go all around Grant Rock or wherever they want to go. So I'm going to move Article 2 as written. Do I have any further discussion? All right, seeing none, those in favor say aye. Tom, aye. Keith.
Aye.
Maureen.
Aye.
Carlos.
Aye.
Donnie.
Aye.
Paul.
Aye.
Susan.
Aye.
Sherry.
Aye.
All right. Article 3, which is the budgets, which thank you all for doing the budgets all throughout the last couple of months. So I'm going to move Article 3 as written. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All right. Seeing none, those in favor say aye. Tom, aye. Keith.
Aye.
Maureen.
Aye.
Carlos.
Aye.
Donnie.
Aye.
Paul.
Aye.
Susan.
Aye.
Sherry.
Aye.
All right. Article 4 is the DPW team. Are you guys ready for that tonight?
I was gonna hold that till next week as well, after the meeting tomorrow.
All right. And who's going to do that?
Got some clarification on this
That's
article.
that.
I'm sorry. I was asking who has the article, just so I can.
Paul.
Paul, it's Paul, sorry.
You bet.
We're gonna
Are you saying
push
Paul?
this to next,
This is a capital budget article.
next week after we meet.
Next week.
Tom.
All right. Sounds good.
But I had a question on the procedural question. This budget on the article is the whole town. We're just picking the DPW line items. Discuss.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I'm
Trying to figure
good.
out how that rolls out when we get to a town meeting.
Oh, yeah. I get you. Yeah.
They vote it line by line
Yeah.
when they read it. If there's a question, they talk about it. If not, they pass the whole thing.
Right. So tell you what, I guess I get Paul's question is that you're going to handle the DPW stuff out of the capital budget. Tell you, we'll so people who have, like, I know there's a couple of school things here that are recommended, so Carlos can talk to that if we have to. There's some selectmen stuff, I guess would be me, so let's all do our fair share. If we have something and we can address Article 4 next week. Thanks for bringing that to my attention, Paul.
Well, and also, since the Capital Budget Committee has some recommendations on here, are they also involved with each line item with at the town meeting?
This
So
is
what will happen is that Don Gibson typically will talk about each one that they're okay to recommend, as I remember correctly, and then if somebody has a question, they will question that particular recommendation. So obviously, there's only so much money, so the capital budget goes to each one. So they obviously don't recommend everything, right? They sort of pick and choose what they think that the town can afford for that year. So we really only talk about the ones that are recommended. In the past, I think there was an ambulance one that sort of came out that we ended up voting on. But I mean, anybody can really, I guess, make an amendment to the article, and town can vote on it. But typically, it goes to each one that was recommended. Does that answer your question?
I think so. So at the town meeting, only the line items that have a capital budget committee recommendation are the ones that are discussed?
No.
That's correct. Typically, yep. Right. Is that right? Is that correct, Keith?
Well, they can question it, but there's no money attached to it, so it gets harder to pass it. And the capital budget will give a report on all these things of why they're supporting it and why they're not.
Right. I mean, in theory, someone could make an amendment article that I'm just looking at this DPW engineering for $50,000 if they wanted to include that. And then the town meeting would vote on that amendment to include that $50,000. If it went through, then you'd be voting on the $50,000 along with everything else in that line item. Typically, those things get voted down, but I do remember in an ambulance several years ago when Kevin Robinson was the chief that got voted on that way. Right?
Mr. Chairman, the other issue is that, if I may, the other issue is that any amendment wouldn't be able to exceed 10% of the total article. So the total article is 2.64 million. So the most an amendment could be for 264,000. And to Mr. Polanski's point, even if town meeting recommends, right, adding 264,000 to any of these line items to be borrowed, that authority lies with the Board of Selectmen and the Treasurer, not town meeting.
Yeah, I mean, I think it opens up kind of a can of worms when you start adding money on town meeting floor.
Oh, it does.
Yep.
I think that's clarified. So it's the 2.6 million that we're concerned with and not the 7 million.
Correct. 2.6 million is what's being recommended. And also at the lower level, you'll see what's being supported by taxes and how that breaks out, right? And it comes to your 2.6, and that's actually the physical amounts that are being moved in the motion. So the motions, when you get the motion that's being read at town meeting, right, the motion will move 2.5 million supported by Chapter 44, Section 7, authorizing the treasurer with the approval of the Board of Selectmen to borrow 2.5 million, authorizing my office to transfer funds of 60,000 in wastewater and 80,000 in solid waste to the designated project. Capital has so approved.
What's that, Bob? All right. For Article 5, I have Maureen on my paper, but is that correct or was it Carlos? I couldn't remember.
No, it's me.
It is you. Okay,
So-
fantastic.
Just before we go to 5, I heard a mention of we should be taking some action on reviewing something on this individually. I just want to make sure that I'm clear on what action you need us to take.
If you, I will let you know if you need to review anything. How about that?
Okay.
As I look at it.
Thanks. That's fair.
I just making things up as I go along.
That's awesome.
Oh, you're doing a great job.
Hey, what else are you gonna say? I mean, we're all here. Okay, Maureen, Article 5.
I would like to move Article 5 as written.
Fantastic. Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion.
So my understanding is that it's just an annual requirement. I'm setting the spending limits on our town's revolving accounts. So I think it's kind of housekeeping.
That is correct.
That is correct.
That is correct from the people over there in that square. All right.
All right.
Discussion. Seeing none, those in favor say aye. Tom, aye. Keith,
Aye.
Maureen,
Aye.
Carlos. Are you on mute again?
Aye.
Aye.
Thanks.
Is it me? I mean, I know I'm.
No, it's me, it's me, it's me.
Could be me. Could be me. Donnie,
Aye.
Paul,
Aye.
Susan,
Aye.
Sherry.
Aye.
All right. Article 6, are you tabling that for next week as well?
Yes, I have that article and we'll do it next week. We meeting is tomorrow.
Next week. Yep. Okay, yeah, but you can meet with them tomorrow. Got you. Article 7, I have Carlos.
7, I'll move Article 7 is written.
Second.
Second. Anybody second that?
Nope, nothing to add to it.
Maureen seconded. I got
I
that.
did, yeah.
Any discussion? Further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Tom, aye. Keith,
Aye.
Maureen,
Aye.
Carlos,
Aye.
Donnie,
Aye.
Susan,
Aye.
Paul, sorry. Jumped ahead. Paul,
Aye.
Sherry.
Aye.
All right. Sorry about that. Article 8 is me. Spoke with Greg Emon in these next 4 articles. I move Article 8 as written.
Second.
Anybody second that?
Second.
Thank you very much. Okay, so now this brings us into the bylaws with the state. Apparently, before our bylaws didn't require, like, if you had a handicap ramp on a side yard, that was sort of, it was something you weren't supposed to do. So now you can do things like that. So this just sort of gets us in line and brings us up to par with the state requirements. Any further discussion? Seeing none, those in favor say aye. Tom, aye. Keith,
Aye.
Maureen,
Aye.
Carlos,
Aye.
Donnie,
Aye.
Paul,
Aye.
Susan,
Aye.
Sherry.
Aye.
All right. Article 9, I move Article 9 is written.
Second.
So there was an error the last time they did this with the Water Resource Protection District, along with having medical and the next one's going to talk about this as well, medical and recreational use for marijuana sales. So there's a place in Enterprise Drive, which I think now is a tire place. And then you also have the Buckles and Board, so they could be medical and rec if they filled out those permits and they had all the necessary documents and all that stuff that goes along with it. So he is just fixing, not really an error, but just fixing something that we voted on at town meeting, last town meeting maybe. So anyway, I'm comfortable with this. I move Article 9 as written. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Tom, aye. Keith,
Aye.
Maureen,
Aye.
Carlos,
Aye.
Donnie,
Aye.
Paul,
Aye.
Susan,
Aye.
Sherry.
Aye.
All right. Again, let's see, we go Article 10. Again, just showing up some paperwork from the last one. You can see the blue highlighted area under the community facilities, and this is dealing with medical and recreational marijuana use, just to get our ducks in a row. Any further discussion? Seeing as all in favor, say aye. Tom, aye. Keith,
Aye.
Maureen,
Aye.
Carlos,
Aye.
Donnie,
Aye.
Paul,
Aye.
Susan,
Aye.
Sherry.
Aye.
All right. Moving on to Article 11. I move Article 11 is written.
Second.
Second.
Thank you. Again, this is, the floodplain, you could just drive yourself nuts. And I think we all know somebody who's in the floodplain whose, house has never had water and, the blizzard of 78 or the no-name storm or anything else. But for me, I think the important part is that section 15.01G, which is to ensure that the town of Marshfield qualifies for participation in the National Flood Insurance Program. As Ronald Reagan said, the 9 craziest words around from the government. I'm here to help you. I know that 4 houses have gone in and 5 have gone out from the floodplain, which is great of you, the 5 going out. Not so great of you, the 4 going in. And this is from river stuff, not ocean. But I mean, you could bang your head against the wall and be here all night talking about the floodplain district. So I move, Greg Emon is comfortable with this. So I'm moving Article 11 as written.
Second.
Any further discussion? Seeing as all in favor, say aye. Tom, aye. Keith,
Aye.
Maureen,
Aye.
Carlos,
Aye.
Donnie,
Aye.
Paul,
Aye.
Susan,
Aye.
Sherry.
Aye.
All right, and then and it's really long. So let me find what the hell Article 12 is here. There it is. Okay, Article 12 is Susan.
I move Article 12 as written.
Second.
For a second.
I'll second.
There you go. Awesome. Thank you. Discussion.
So my understanding of the article is to basically adjust the age of what is considered a historically significant building in line with it being 2021 now.
All right. Any further discussion on Article 12? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Tom, aye. Keith,
Aye.
Maureen,
Aye.
Carlos,
Aye.
Donnie,
Aye.
Paul,
Aye.
Susan,
Aye.
Sherry.
Aye.
All right. Article 13 is the DPW team. Are we tabling this for
Aye.
next week? as
No,
well?
I'm gonna move this as written.
Holy cow. All right.
Second.
Okay, I've talked with Kevin, I go to most of their hearings, and the only thing I would comment on are the line items 5, 6, and 7. 1, 2, 3, 4 are all just standard set-asides that they have to put that money aside. 5, they're gonna provide playgrounds for kids in the Hummerock area and support summer programs. So that's one of the things that'll be going on over there. And on number 6, open space recreation, they were going to resurface some basketball courts and redo a playground in the Marshfield Hills area. And 7, it'll just provide much better access and safety to the beaches.
Gotcha. Love those mats.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're awesome.
Yeah.
They're great.
Donnie,
I-
I have a question. Are we still gonna meet with Kevin next Saturday and go to these?
Yes.
Okay.
Right. Okay, but we moving Article
7 as written.
13 is written, and we have a second on that. So any further discussion on 13? Seeing none, those in favor say aye. Tom, aye. Keith,
Aye.
Maureen,
Aye.
Carlos,
Aye.
Donnie,
Aye.
Paul,
Aye.
Susan. Susan,
Aye.
thank you. Sherry?
Aye.
There you go. All right, we're moving on to Article 14, the DPW team. What are we doing there?
Sherry has that.
We're gonna table that until next week. We're meeting
Okay.
tomorrow.
Fantastic. Article 15, the DPW team.
Paul has that.
Is that being tabled till next week, Paul?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes? Okay. 16, DPW team, who has that?
That's being passed over.
16 is being passed over.
Mhm.
Don't you love that? Okay. 17 is me, which is the town moderator salary, which we discussed earlier. I move Article 17 as written.
Second.
Second.
All right. Anybody discussion on that? Okay. All those in favor of Article 17 signify by saying aye. Tom, aye. Keith,
Aye.
Maureen,
Aye.
Carlos,
Aye.
Donnie,
Aye.
Paul,
Aye.
Susan,
Aye.
Sherry.
Aye.
All right. Article 18 is Keith.
Move to defeat.
Move
Can
to,
I comment, Mr. Chairman?
yeah, hold on a second. Dave, do I have a second on that?
I'll second it.
All right. Discussion. Wasn't this going to be passed over, Dave?
Yeah, I think it was, that's what I have, that it was
I have.
passed over.
Okay, so let's go to Dave. Dave,
That was the statement I was going to make. We were going to pass this one over.
Yeah.
look
All
at
right,
that.
so just cross it off.
All right. We're going to pass that over. Do we have to vote on a pass over?
No.
You don't have to.
Whatever it is, it's
I'll take
handled by
it.
the moderator on town
What's
floor.
that?
Yeah.
Moderator just handles it on town meeting floor usually.
Okay, fair enough. Thank you. Okay, that was 18. And now 19 is Maureen. I know, well, actually, go ahead, Maureen.
Yeah, we can't vote on this yet because we don't have the amendment. So we can't pass it as written because
Okay,
the,
so we'll table that to at least next week, right? And then we'll see if we have any information. If not, then we'll have to vote on it then. But as far as I know, I talked to Michael earlier today, and there was no amendment to that particular article in-house, right? Written.
That is correct, Mr. Chairman. There were some groups that have some grave concerns. I know the 4-H and the Fair Association had some concerns about some of the animals and being able to have petting zoos and stuff like that. So I will reach out to Lenny LaForest and Carlton tomorrow to make sure that they have any concerns, that they commit them to paper ASAP to the advisory board.
Gotcha. Great. Thank you.
thank you.
Okay, so that handles the special and the annual that we have today. I will post a meeting for next Tuesday, the 13th. As far as the minutes go, there was I know Susan had reached out about a discrepancy in numbers. There are several numbers, so I'm going to table voting on minutes until next week, Marie. Okay, and then you'll have this one here from today, and then we'll vote on 5. So there's 4 in-house. I just want to make the corrections and talk to Marie by next week, and just be that much easier with a resend than going through that stuff. Does that make sense, everybody?
Yep.
Sure.
Fantastic. Does anybody have anything else to discuss before I call for an adjournment?
Yeah,
Oh,
what
one
do we
question.
need?
Oh,
Jet?
Go ahead, Maureen.
I was just wondering, is the time for next week going to be 6:30 or 7?
Well, Marie, I'm going to give you the ability to set a time.
Really?
I am.
Well, could everybody be ready at 6:30? I mean, I don't really care. I just wanted to know.
6:30 sounds good because
Yep.
task passed on is a task completed. So boom,
All right.
6:30
On Tuesday?
next Tuesday, the 13th.
Okay.
Tuesday the 13th. All right.
Yep.
And I will I'll have that posted by Nerese, and then I will forward that on to you. Also, if you're confused as to whether because I forget to send this stuff out, it's if you go to Town of Marshall, it's on the calendar, and that's where I get the agenda from that I pass on. So if you're ever saying, why didn't Tom send it out? That's where to go. All right, I'm going to call for.
Can I just had a procedural question on amendments from the petitioner, right? So the petitioner put this in a certain way.
Yeah.
And we're holding off on voting on this, expecting an amendment. What is is there like a time frame that people are required to submit an amendment prior?
I could sort of answer that, and I may be wrong. So let me go with Michael on that for the amendments and the time frame.
So, just so that the advisory board knows, usually if someone's going to object to something, sometimes they send it to the advisory board. The only one that can make any changes is with private petition articles, they get to be somewhat challenging, but the language can be altered on town meeting floor. If the amendment is greater than 10 words, I believe it has to be in writing. If it's bigger than 25 words or something, it has to be a copy for everyone at town meeting. And then town meeting can vote it. I'm not 100% sure, but I think there's some language also, and the moderator would go through this, but I think the proponent has to be open to the amendment. If not, then the town meeting would then simply vote it up or down with the language. So then basically, if the person wants to get some of their stuff through, they would agree to it, and the amendment hopefully would pass, and then it would make the warrant article itself more palatable.
But if she wanted to, because it's well before the town meeting, couldn't she, just almost cut this article in half, and have it to us by next week, and we could vote on it because it wouldn't be in the actual official town warrant?
You can't. It is in the official town warrant. The warrant was posted on the 23rd, the week before the joint hearing. So it only can be changed on town meeting floor.
Tom,
Oh, then I sound foolish. Yes.
if we vote on this article
Yes.
and there's an amendment, the advisory board hasn't voted on the amendment. So
Right.
our vote is mute. That's why I wanted to see the amendment first, if she wants our support.
Right.
If she doesn't get our support, we're just voting on this particular article as it
Right.
is.
Exactly right. So I was just giving her some leeway to put an amendment forward. If no amendment is seen by next Tuesday, then we vote on the article as it is written, and then we vote it as we see it.
Right.
Right. Paul, did you have something?
Yeah, just a housekeeping thing. How do we go about getting the website advisory board members updated on the town website?
Oh man, is that the
we'll have-
citizen's office, Michael?
Yeah, we'll have IT do it. We'll make a note of it. We'll get it updated.
Thank you.
Here's a nice thing: is that by next Tuesday we'll be able to see if Michael kept his word or not. So
Yes. Patrick's on it right now. Patrick oversees IT, so
you
he's
go.
on it. He'll notify our IT people and they will make the updates.
a task passed on right there. Well done. Any other further discussion before we call for adjournment?
I just want to make one comment.
Yes, you may.
It's really nice to see new members asking questions, because a lot of times we sit through these things and just sit there and take it all in. So it's a pleasure.
Greg? It
I
is.
agree.
All right. Long time to take a drink of water. Okay, I'm going to call for a roll call for adjournment, and I vote signifies we're adjourning. Tom, aye. Keith,
Aye.
Maureen,
Aye.
Carlos,
Aye.
Donnie,
Aye.
Paul,
Aye.
Susan,
Aye.
Sherry. Aye. It was a ventriloquist thing. I saw it though. All right. Thanks everybody. I will let you know next Tuesday, 6:30, says Maureen Meach. So
Right.
that's when it'll be. All right. Thanks, guys. Thanks for all your help. Appreciate it. Thanks,
Thank
Michael.
you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
In the top left. Thank you. Bye. Christy.
Bye.